Hi everyone, and welcome back for another exciting week of Spanish. This week we are going to be exploring Chapter 3 in the Arriba textbook. You have lots of different things that are included in this chapter, but fortunately none of them are too terribly difficult. So we're going to take a moment and hit the highlights, starting with numbers from 101 through 3 million. Now, you learned numbers from 0 through 100 in a previous chapter. So we're going to start out with the number 100 by itself, which hopefully you remember 100 in Spanish is cien, C-I-E-N, cien. However, whenever you go anything over 100, for example, if you just want to do something basic like 101, we now add a to to the end and it becomes ciento followed by whatever number. So ciento uno, 101, ciento dos, 102, ciento tres, 103, so on and so forth. So cien by itself, 100, ciento whatever, 100 and whatever. So ciento uno, 101, ciento dos, 102, so on and so forth. You also have other numbers that appear here. Everything, I usually, just like your other numbers, I recommend memorizing from 200 through 1000, and then you can do all of the others. 200 is dos cientos. So remember, ciento was sort of that base for 100. Now you have 200, dos cientos, 300, tres cientos, 400, cuatro cientos. 500, unfortunately, is not cinco cientos, although that would make sense. It becomes quinientos, quinientos for 500. 600, seiscientos. 700, setecientos, almost like 7, siete, but without the I in siete. It's just setecientos. 800, ochocientos. 900, novecientos, almost like 9, nueve, but novecientos. And then 1000 is mil, M-I-L, mil. All the rest of these are really easy. So once you know your hundreds and you know 1000, you can do multiple others. So you know 1000 is mil, 2000, dos mil, 3000, tres mil, 4000, cuatro mil, so on and so forth. And then of course a million in Spanish is just un millón, un millón. And then as you continue, dos millones, tres millones, cuatro millones for 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, so on and so forth. I find this to be more of a vocabulary thing as opposed to a grammar thing, but your book includes it as a grammar concept. But these are pretty easy if you memorize your numbers. Now, something interesting that confuses a lot of students and will really confuse you if you study abroad. I'll never forget the first time that I traveled to Europe, and I was so confused because in place of a decimal, they use a comma in other countries in Europe. And in place of a comma, they use a decimal, so vice versa. So for example, you can see here 10,000 in the United States is 10, comma, 000. Well, 10,000 in Spain or in other parts of Latin America, Europe, 10,000 is 10 period or decimal 000. So they've inverted the zero and the comma, or excuse me, the decimal and the comma. The same thing is true of more basic numbers. So here you see $2.50, 2.50. In other countries, specifically Spain and Latin America, you see 2,50 for $2.50 or €2.50 or whatever it might be. So on and so forth. So they invert these. So don't freak out on My Spanish Lab as you're working and you see a comma where there should be a decimal or a decimal where there should be a comma. That's actually correct for parts of Spain and Latin America. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Now, as you're working through your assignments this week, you may be asked to do something kind of like this, where you've been given something in Spanish and you have to tell what number it is. So if you look at the model, you can see 249. I've told you that in our previous lecture that in a lot of ways, Spanish functions just like math. So you kind of have to work it out. 200 was 200, 40, 40, and nueve, 9. So you add these together, you get 249. 249. Okay, the same is true for these other areas. With number 1, you're given 592. So take those numbers, add them together. 500, 500, 90, 90, y dos, 2. So 500, 90, and 2 adds to give you 592. Let's try another one. As you look at number 2, you can see 10,711. Well, let's take a look here. You know that mil by itself is 1,000. In this case, we have 10,000, 10,000. 700, so this cientos part indicates 100. Sete, 7, so 700. And then once, 11. So 10,711 added all together. Okay, I'd like for you to take a moment, pause your audio, and give the rest of these a try. Okay, now that you've had a second to try these, let's take a look. As you look at number 3, it gives you un millón, which obviously is 1 million, un millón. 600, which is 600. 30. So that is 1,630,000. And then it gives you y 3,000, 3,000. 209, so 209. So take those, add them all together. So you're given 1,633,209. I'm having trouble typing all these for some reason. Too many zeros there. Okay, 209. So these begin to get a little complicated as you get into your bigger numbers, of course. Let's look at a few more simple questions here. Number 4 gives you 900, again, 900. This is 900,000, so that's 900,000. Followed by 21, which is 21. So 900, 900, 1000, 1,000, 900,000, ciento, 21. So this is 900,021. So hopefully, and the ciento, of course, indicates 100. So hopefully not too bad for you there. And make a new box here. Okay, as you look at number 5, it gives you 145. So 100 and 45, 45. That seems pretty easy in comparison to some of these larger numbers, right? Okay, so not to worry. I will not make you do anything too terrible on your exam, hopefully. As long as you know these numbers and can apply them, it should be pretty easy for you. Okay, another way to apply these numbers, but also look back at something you've learned in the past, is to look at dates. Okay, so this is something that a lot of students have trouble with, and this was a big part of Chapter 2, so I just wanted to bring this back so that you get a little more practice. Remember that in Spanish we write the dates backwards. That is that the day comes before the month and then is followed by the year. So as you see here, 22-06-1992. In this case, we're referring to the 22nd day of the 6th month of the year 1992. So we want to say the 22nd. As we write our dates in Spanish, we're going to have el followed by a number. In this case, the number of the month, or I'm sorry, the number of the day. So el number followed by day, followed by the month, followed by the year. Okay, so your kind of formula here, if you want to think about it as a math problem, you have an el followed by the number, so the 22nd in this case, a day followed by the month, in this case the 6th month is June, another day followed by the year, which is 1992. So if you look at our, for number 1 here, you could say el, 22 obviously is 22. We need to add a day. And then our month, June, is junio. So el 22 de junio. And now we need to add the of 1992. Okay. Now, a lot of students want to say 19, 19, and 92, 92. Doesn't work like that in Spanish. The number is 1,992. So you're going to write it exactly like that. 1,000, 900, 900, 90, 90, and 2, y dos. Okay, let's do one more of these. In number 2, you have 12-3-1969. if you're not careful, you may look at that and think, oh gosh, it is December the 3rd, 1969. Remember that dates in Spanish are backwards, so the day comes before the month and then is followed by the year. So in this case, we have el, the 12th day, el 12 of day, the third month, which is March, marzo, of day, 1969, or 1969. So again, 1000, 900, 960, 60, can't spell 60 today, 69. Okay, so again, follow your little formula here. El, number, day, month, day, year. Okay, I want you to take a moment, pause your audio, and give numbers 3 and 4 a try for me, please. Okay, now that you've had a second to try these, let's take a look. In number 3, you're given 1-12-2000. Of course, this is not January 12th. This is the first day of December 2000. So we have our el that we started with. Our number in this case is not el uno day, even though that's tempting. You may recall from a previous lecture, the first day of the month is not written as el uno, it's el primero day. So el primero day, our month in this case, the 1st of December, diciembre, of day, and then 2000 is not just mil, but rather 2000, 2000. Hopefully you're doing well in these so far. For number 4, you're given the 27th day of the 8th month of 2012. So we're going to say the 27th day, el, the, 27, 20, y 7, of, day, August, agosto, agosto, of, day, and then 2012. So 1000 was mil, 2000 is 2000, and 12, 2012. Okay, of course your book prefers that you write it this way, the 27. Sorry, old habits die hard. 27. Okay, your book prefers it with the I. Okay, so now that you have those, hopefully you're feeling better about these numbers from 100 through various millions. Remember, if you can just memorize your base numbers, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and 1000, you can unlock all of the others, okay? So just try to memorize these basics, and you can form other numbers. Okay, we've discussed numbers. Now we're going to move on to talk about possessive adjectives. Now, if you think about the word possession and what it means to be possessive, if you're possessive over something, that means that it's yours. So this is my cell phone. This is my Apple Watch. That is your textbook. That is her pencil, so on and so forth. We have these possessive adjectives in English too. My, yours, his or her, our, their. We use these possessive adjectives all the time in English, and same way in Spanish. So the difference is that in English, there's only one way to say my. There's only one way to say your. But in Spanish, there are two different ways to communicate this, and that's because our possessive adjectives have to agree in gender and in number with whatever they're referring to, whatever the noun is. And actually, in this case, they're just referring in number, not necessarily in gender for all of them. Some of them will agree in gender, and you'll understand that in just a moment. So let's take a look at these. As you look at your possessive adjectives, you start with my, mi, or plural, mis. So for example, if I have one thing, if I want to say my phone, mi teléfono, there's only one phone there. Teléfono is singular, so I'm just going to use mi teléfono. But now if I have multiple phones, multiple teléfonos, when I throw an S on teléfonos, I also have to throw an S on mi, and it becomes mis teléfonos. You have multiple phones here, right? So one phone, mi teléfono, multiple phones, mis teléfonos. Hopefully that makes sense. The same is true of when you want to say your. So your phone, tu teléfono. Your phones, tus teléfonos, plural. His phone, her phone or your formal phone, su teléfono, or plural, sus teléfonos. Okay, this is where things get tricky. If you want to say our, whatever the object is, in this case our phone, you use the word nuestro. Now, in this case, teléfono was masculine and ended in an O, so nuestro also has to end in an O. Okay? Now, if I were to change this and I were to say our pizza, I could not say nuestro pizza, okay? Because the word pizza is feminine. It ends in an A, it is singular, and it is feminine. So instead of saying nuestro pizza, I have to say nuestra pizza. Okay, has to agree in both gender and in number. Okay, the same is true if they were plural. Instead of having one phone, if we had teléfonos, I would have to say nuestros teléfonos. If we had multiple pizzas, I would have to say nuestras pizzas. Okay, so regardless of whether you're a male or you're a female, pizzas is feminine and it is plural. So therefore we're going to say nuestras. Even if we're two guys and these are our pizzas, nuestras pizzas. Okay, because pizzas, the noun in this case, is feminine and it is plural. So, in summary, with these possessive adjectives, you have to look at the noun that follows. My what, your what, his or her what. You have to look at that what to determine whether or not that possessive adjective is going to be singular, plural, masculine, or feminine. The same is true of your alls in Spain. So instead of nuestros teléfonos, you have vuestros teléfonos. Instead of nuestro teléfono, you have vuestro teléfono. Same thing here. Vuestras pizzas or vuestra pizza. Okay, has to agree in gender or number. And then same thing with theirs. So their phone, su teléfono. Their phones, sus teléfonos. Their pizza, su pizza. Their pizzas, plural, sus pizzas. They all have to agree in gender and in number. Now, hopefully that's not too bad. So one more time. My, your, his or her, our, and their are possessive adjectives in English. We have those same possessive adjectives in Spanish. They just have to agree in gender and number. So mi, mis, tú, tus, su, sus, nuestro, nuestros, nuestra, nuestras, vuestro, vuestros, vuestra, vuestras, and su and sus again are possessive adjectives in Spanish. Now, we're going to take that information and apply it to a little write-up here about your university. So I want you to think about King as you are going through and filling these in. For example, the modelo here tells us we have to fill in the blank with the correct possessive adjective. So we're using one of these blue words from before, me, tú, su, etc. And then we have to tell if the statement's true or false. So the model tells us that tengo 5 materias. En todas blank materias son interesantes. So I have 5 different classes, 5 different materials, 5 different subjects, and all of my subjects are interesting. So in this case, materias was plural. I used tengo in my first word here, which let you know that I was talking about myself, that I have 5 subjects. So I wouldn't say I have 5 subjects. All of his classes are interesting. All of your classes are interesting. All of their classes are interesting. If I start out at the beginning of my sentence and I say that I have 5 subjects, we need to say that all of my subjects are interesting. There are multiple subjects here, materias, so I need to use the plural form here, mis. You have to decide for yourself if that's true. Are all of your subjects interesting? Cierto, true? Or no, they're not interesting. Falso. You have to decide. So, as you continue looking here, let's take a look at number 1. It tells you that nosotros, we, tenemos un gimnasio impresionante. We have an impressive gym. Blank gimnasio es nuevo y conveniente. So blank gym is new and convenient. So we have to decide here. We have a new gym. Blank gym is new. we're trying to say that whose gym is new? My gym, your gym, our gym, their gym. It makes sense here to say that since we have a new gym, that our gym is new. You may look back at our previous page and see that our can be communicated as either nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, or nuestras. In this case, we are referring to a gimnasio, which is what comes after. It is masculine and it is singular. So therefore, we should say nuestro gimnasio. Okay, let's take a moment and try another one of these together. Number 2 tells us that la librería, which is not a library, a librería is a bookstore, like libro. So la librería tiene muchos libros. The bookstore has a lot of books, and blank precios son bastante buenos. So the bookstore has a lot of books, and blank prices are rather good. So the bookstore has a lot of books, and my prices are rather good. Your prices are rather good. His or her prices are rather good. Our prices are rather good. Or their prices are really good. Hopefully you're saying there makes sense. If you look back at your chart, you can see that there is communicated as either su or sus. We have multiple precios here, prices, which has an S. It is plural. So to say our prices, we should say sus precios. Okay? Hopefully you're feeling decent about these. I have a little more practice here. So I've given you some sentences. I always like to use my former students or current students in my examples. So as you read these sentences, you can think about previous King students. Number 1 tells you that Amelia tiene 70 gatos en blank casa. So Amelia has 70 cats in blank house. And your options are tu casa or su casa. So she has 70 cats in your house or 70 cats in her house. Obviously in su casa, makes more sense here in her house. Let's look at one more. Riley juega al basketball. Either mi or su equipo es muy bueno. So Riley plays basketball. My team is very good, or her team is very good. Well, we're talking about Riley, which would be she. So we want to say that Riley's team, her team is very good. So we should say su equipo es muy bueno. Okay? I'd like for you to take a moment, pause your audio, and please give numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6 a try. Okay, now that you've had a second to try these, number 3 tells us that Señor Watson es muy simpático. Mr. Watson is very kind, very nice. Blank estudiantes tienen mucha suerte. So Mr. Watson is very nice. Our students are very lucky, or his students are very lucky. Obviously, in this case, we're talking about Mr. Watson, he, so it makes more sense to say that his students are very lucky, and we should use sus. Sus estudiantes tienen mucha suerte. Number 4 tells us that Braden tiene dos hermanos. Braden has 2 brothers. Either tu or su hermano mayor asiste a ETSU. So Braden has 2 brothers. Your older brother attends ETSU, or his older brother attends ETSU. Because Braden would be he, we want to say that his brother, so our options are su or sus, and in this case, we want to use su because brother, hermano, is singular. So su hermano mayor asiste a ETSU. Number 5 gets a little interesting. It says that el perro de Noah es menos cariñoso que el gato de Señor Harrison, and that either nuestros or mis animales son muy afortunados porque tienen casas buenas. So, Noah's dog is less cute than Mr. Harrison's cat, and our animals are very fortunate because they have good homes. So, our makes more sense here to say nuestros animales rather than mis animales, my animals. Okay? And our last one, number 6, nosotros tenemos gatos, we have cats. Nuestros gatos son gordos, our cats are fat, or sus gatos son gordos, their cats are fat. Well, we're saying that we have cats, so it makes more sense here to say that our cats, nuestros gatos, are the ones who are fat. Okay, hopefully you're feeling okay so far. One more thing that I want to bring up here is, and this always confuses people, especially when you're writing your journals, is that there's no apostrophe S in Spanish. So I can never say it's Dawson's apostrophe S libro. In Spanish, we say the Book of Dawson or his book. You could also shorten it. So you have multiple options here. We know that a book is a libro in Spanish. So to say the Book of Dawson, we will say el libro de Dawson, the book of Dawson, or you could say his book, su libro. What you cannot do is say Dawson's libro. That is a no, bad news bears. We don't do that. El libro de Dawson or su libro. So let's do another example here. Number one, ask us to talk about Grayson's cat. You have two options. You can say the cat of Grayson, or you can say her cat. Let's try the cat of Grayson. We know that a cat is a gato. The cat would be el gato. Of in Spanish is de, and our person is Grayson. So el gato de Grayson. Or her cat. Obviously, her in Spanish is communicated as su or sus, because there's only one gato here, which is singular. We're going to say su gato, her cat. Su gato. Okay. I would like for you to take a moment and pause your audio and give numbers 2 and 3 a try for me. Okay, number 2 tells us we're talking about Blaine's math class. So there's multiple things going on here. First, you have to figure out math class. It is not matemáticas clase. That's not right, because remember, in Spanish, everything is backwards. We say the class of math, the book of Dawson, the cat of Grayson. So in this case, this is the class, la clase, de matemáticas, of math. La clase de matemáticas, the class of math. And this is the class of math of who? Right, it's Blaine's math class. So la clase de matemáticas de Blaine. What about in number 3 when we're talking about Janet's pen? There are two ways to say pen in Spanish. You can say la pluma, or you can say el bolígrafo. I prefer the word pluma. I forget which one your book uses. To say the pen of Janet, we're either going to say la pluma de Janet or el bolígrafo de Janet. Both are perfectly correct. Okay, one more thing to note here. As we're doing that thing showing possession where we say the book of Janet, the cat of Matthew, so on and so forth, one thing that you do need to know is whenever you have a de followed by el, in Spanish, this is what we call a contraction. It forms del. And the reason why, if you try to say de el very fast, del, it automatically becomes del. De and el, the E's just kind of run together. And it becomes hard in natural speech to pronounce those. De, el, it just runs together. Del sounds better. So you can still de la, no problem with that, but de and el becomes del. For example, the exams of the professor are difficult. Los exámenes de el profesor son difíciles. That makes perfect sense if you're a speaker of English. The exams of the professor, de el profesor. However, de and el combine to give you del. It is a contraction. Okay, so just a little bit of practice for you there. This only works when el is referring to the article like the, not when we're saying el with an accent, he. So de el, del, de el, the person, does not combine. Okay, so I want to give you a little more practice with these. And this is going to keep bringing back those things that you've learned, your numbers, your dates. It just keeps putting it all together. Number 1 says that Mr. Harrison's mother's birthday is March 12th, 1969, which is true. Okay, so we're talking about what now exactly? Right, we're talking about a birthday. And this is the birthday of who? Mr. Harrison's mom. But we can't apostrophe S in Spanish. So we need to say the birthday, el cumpleaños, the birthday of, el cumpleaños de. And this is the birthday of Mr. Harrison's mom, or the birthday of the mom, the mother, la madre, de Señor Harrison. Okay? Don't let that confuse you. Lots of things going on there. We can't apostrophe S. So this is the birthday of the mom of Mr. Harrison. Her birthday is es. You may remember our formula for dates. We have an el, followed by a number, followed by a day, followed by a month, followed by a day, followed by a year. So in this case, el cumpleaños de la madre de Señor Harrison es el 12th, el 12 of March, de marzo, the 12th of March, el 12 de marzo of de 1000, 900, 900, 60, 60, and 9, y nueve. Okay, here's another example. They are not my cats, they're John's. Remember, we don't have an apostrophe S, so they are not my cats. Ellos no son mis gatos. Your my here became mis because we had multiple cats, gatos, so this had to be plural. Ellos no son mis gatos. The ellos here is also not necessarily required, but a lot of speakers of Spanish 1, as they start out, like to include the ellos, but a native speaker would probably just say, no son mis gatos. They're not my cats. To say they're John's, literally they're the cats of John. Son los gatos de John. In this case, the de is showing our possession because we can't apostrophe S in Spanish. Okay, number 3 tells us that Kayla's pen is red, and number 4 tells us my birthday is blank. I want you to take a moment. I want you to pause your audio and give numbers 3 and 4 a try. Okay, now that you've had a moment to try these, number 3 tells us that Kayla's pen is red. Well, first of all, we know we can't apostrophe S in Spanish, so instead of saying Kayla's pen, we need to say the pen of Kayla. La pluma de Kayla. All right, that's out of the way. The pen of Kayla is red. So we're going to say la pluma de Kayla es, and red, roja. Roja, because the adjective here, roja, red, has to agree with the noun, la pluma, which was feminine and singular. So we should say la pluma es roja. Okay, number 4, hopefully you got to have some fun writing your own birthday, yes, day, month, and year. Okay, so here we're saying my birthday is, mi, birthday, cumpleaños, is, es, and in this case, el, followed by number, followed by day, followed by a month, followed by day, followed by a year. Okay, so I would say, if I were writing this sentence about myself, that mi cumpleaños es el 22 de junio de 1992. June 22nd, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, all right, that wraps up our studies of numbers from 101 through 3000, and also our discussion on possessive adjectives. So next, we're going to look at some expressions with the verb tener. If you don't remember about the verb tener, we did spend some time on it in the Chapter 2 video lecture, so feel free to go back and revisit that video if you need a little refresher. Okay, but the verb tener just means to have, and there are various expressions you can use with tener. First of all, one of the easiest is to tener blank años. So you see this woman asking, ¿Cuántos años tienes? How many years do you have? Or we would say, how old are you? And this guy says, oh, yo tengo 19 años. I have 19 years. So maybe, hypothetically speaking, on an oral interview, you might have a question like, ¿Cuántos años tienes? Hint, hint, hint. How old are you? And you might respond to that with, I have, yo tengo, and however many years you have. So, ¿cuántos años tienes? How old are you? Oh, yo tengo 27 años, or whatever. And go through and fill in your years. Okay, so tener blank años. Don't forget to conjugate tener. Tengo, I have, tienes, you have, tiene, he or she has, tenemos, we have, tenéis, you all in Spain have, and tienen, they or you all have. Okay, another common expression here is tener calor. Oh man, so hace calor means it's hot, but tener calor means I'm hot. So you want to say expressing who has the heat. So literally, tener calor, to have heat. So this guy is fanning himself, the sun is shining, and he says, Uf, tengo mucho calor. Man, I am so hot right now. Tengo calor. That's how you feel if you're laying on the beach. Tengo calor. Okay? My current state, however, and my state most times, is to tener hambre, which means to have hambre, to have hunger. Now you have to be very careful here. This is very similar to the word hombre in Spanish. Now, you may recall from an earlier lesson that an hombre is a man. Now, there's a very big difference in having hunger and having a man, okay? So careful as you pronounce that. Hambre, hombre. Hambre, hombre, okay? This is also not hombre, okay? Be careful. The H is silent in Spanish, so we say hambre, hombre. Hambre, hombre. Okay, so now we look at our sentence. It tells us Ana y su hermana tienen hambre. We use tienen because Ana y su hermana, Anna and her sister, would be they. So we're going to use that bottom right box. Our tener conjugation would be tienen. Ana y su hermana tienen hambre. They're hungry. And you see some visuals here. You can see what she's thinking about here, all these foods. And she says, oh, tengo mucha hambre. I'm so hungry. I have so much hunger. And this woman says back, ay, tengo mucha hambre. I'm hungry too. I'm also hungry, right? Another expression, this is how this woman is feeling right now. You're given the expression tener miedo, to have fear or to be scared. It tells you that Carlota tiene miedo de la serpiente, that she has fear of the snake, of the serpent. Tiene miedo de la serpiente. We could say that Mr. Harrison tiene miedo de su casa cuando mira Criminal Minds. Mr. Harrison is always afraid of his house whenever he's watching Criminal Minds. He has to go and late at night and check all the closets and under all the beds because he tiene miedo. He's a fraidy cat. Okay. Another expression you see here is tener cuidado. I want you to say that with me. Cuidado. Okay, so tener cuidado is literally to have caution, or you might say to take care. So this sentence says, hay que tener cuidado al caminar en la calle. So one must be careful. One must take caution in walking in the street. Another very common use of tener here is tener razón. Remember that the Z makes an S sound in Spanish, so we say tener razón, to have reason literally, or to be correct. So it asks you here in the question, ¿Quién tiene razón? ¿La niña o el niño? So hopefully you remember from our previous lesson that ¿quién means? What's that? Uh-oh, you better sing your song. Por qué, why, cuándo, when, qué, what, dónde, where, cuánto, how much, cómo, how, and quién means. Hopefully you're saying, who is there? Hey, okay, so quién, who, tiene razón. Who has correctness, or who is correct in this case? La niña, the little girl, o el niño, the little boy. So let's look at their thought bubbles. The little girl says that uno y uno son dos. One and one adds to give you two. That makes sense. The little boy says that dos y dos son tres. Two and two gives you three. I'm not sure here. I believe that la niña tiene razón. The girl is correct. La niña tiene razón. And el niño no tiene razón. The boy, he's not correct. Okay. As you keep looking, it gives you tener frío. All right, tener frío is literally to have cold. So this is what I say all the time in the winter. Oh, tengo frío. I'm so cold. Tengo frío. In this case, you see this young lady here, and she's all bundled up, and she says, brr. And it says that la muchacha tiene frío. She is cold. Tiene frío. All right, some other common tener expressions. You have tener sed, to have thirst, or to be thirsty. So tengo mucha sed. I'm very thirsty. Tener sed. You can tener sueño, to be sleepy. In this case, you see this guy, he's yawning, and it says, Marcos tiene sueño. Marcos is sleepy. And then he says, wow, necesito tomar una siesta. I need to take a nap. Okay, and then our last one, you have tener prisa. And you see this young lady, and she is just running here after the autobús. La señorita tiene mucha prisa. The young lady is in a very big hurry. Tener prisa is to be in a hurry. In her little thought bubble, she says, "Ay, voy a perder el autobús. Oh no, I'm gonna miss the bus." Okay, so here are some questions for you to try. We'll do one of these together here. Number one tells us that tomo agua porque tengo blank. So tomo agua, I am drinking some water. Porque tengo, because I have blank. I'm drinking water because I am thirsty. So I would say, tomo agua porque tengo, hopefully you remember that to be thirsty is sed. So bebo agua porque tengo sed. Number 2 tells us that buscamos un suéter porque tenemos blank. We're looking for a sweater because we are blank. Well, you might be wanting to put on a sweater because you're feeling a little chilly. So to be cold, you may recall from earlier, is tener frío. So I'm going to say that buscamos un suéter porque tenemos frío. Okay, and then number 3, es la 1 de la mañana. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. And tienes blank. Well, it's 1 a.m. and you are just yawning. It's 1 a.m. and you are sleepy. So we would say, es la 1 de la mañana y tienes sueño, sleepiness. Okay? I want you might see something like this, for example, on your quiz maybe, on your test, on my Spanish labs. This will be good practice. It gives you some words in red here, which all work with tener, and it gives you a sentence, and you have to figure out which one goes in the blank. I'm going to do number 1, and I'm going to let you do the rest. Number 1 says, no tienes blank, vas a llegar tarde. So don't you have blank, or aren't you blank? And then vas a llegar tarde. You're going to be late. So don't you have blank? Aren't you in a, hopefully you're saying in a hurry. So our options here in red are sueño, sleepiness, hambre, hunger, ganas, to feel like, tener ganas de, to feel like, or prisa, hurry. So aren't you in a hurry? No tienes prisa? Aren't you in a hurry? You're going to arrive late. All right, I want you to pause your audio and give numbers 2, 3, and 4 a try for me here. Okay, now you've had a second to try these. In number 2, we see, vamos a un restaurante. Let's go to a restaurant, man. Tengo blank. Gosh, let's go to a restaurant. I am, remember we've already used prisa. We're going to go to a restaurant because I'm hungry. Tengo hambre. Tengo hambre. I'm so hungry. Number 3, Josefina tiene blank de ir a la biblioteca. So Josefina has blank of going to the library. She has sleepiness of going to the library, or she has feelings of going to the library. It makes more sense to say that she feels like going somewhere. Tener ganas de, we might also translate as to feel like doing something. So Josefina tiene ganas de ir a la biblioteca. Okay, and our last one, number 4. Después de ver un programa aburrido, Susana tiene blank. So after watching a really boring program, Susana is pretty sleepy. Tiene sueño. She has sleepiness. All right, hopefully you're feeling pretty good about your tener expressions. So next, we're going to look at the verb ir. Ir in Spanish means to go. First, we need to have a throwback to our magical box of Spanish. I told you this would just keep coming back. So just as a review to make sure you know these, hopefully you remember that yo means I, tú, you informal, él, he, ella, she, usted, you formal, nosotros and nosotras both mean we, vosotros and vosotras both mean you all, only in Spain, ellos and ellas, they, and ustedes, you all. So, as we look at this verb ir, which means to go, we don't want to say yo ir, I to go, tú ir, you to go, él, ella, usted ir, he, she to go. We want to say I go, you go, he or she goes, okay? So as we look and put these conjugations in, we have yo, voy, I go, or I'm going. Tú, vas, you go, or you're going. Él, ella, usted, va, he or she goes. Nosotros, vamos, we go. Vosotros, vais, you all in Spain go. Or ellos, ellas, ustedes, van, they go. So I have multiple tricks here to help you remember this. As you look at the bottom right box, you see the word van, which in Spanish is pronounced as van, but in English it sure looks a whole lot like van. And you may remember that van means they go, and they go in a van. Think about the big, huge family. They're going to the supermarket. They're going in a minivan. They're going in a van. They go in a van, man. Okay, so van, they go. Another something else you might remember here, if you've ever seen Dora the Explorer, you hear her say, come on, vámonos, everybody, let's go. That vámonos is the same word here that you see from ir. Vamos, we go. Okay, so ir, to go, voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van, referring to who goes. Okay, make sure the best thing to do with these guys is just to memorize them. It will help you tremendously just to memorize these. Okay, now we often use ir to talk about where we're going or what we're going to do. So if we're talking about where we're going, the conjugated form of ir, your voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, or van, is usually followed by the letter a, which in Spanish is pronounced as a. So for example, voy a la biblioteca. I am going to the library. Now, if you didn't have the a, if you just said voy la biblioteca, I go to the library, doesn't make a lot of sense. You wouldn't say, oh, I go Starbucks, I go the Pinnacle, or I go Dunkin' Donuts, right? You would need to say, I'm going to the Pinnacle, I'm going to the mall, I'm going to the restroom. So don't forget your a there to imply the to part. So, voy a la biblioteca. However, in the same way earlier that you learned that de and el became del, we have the same issue here with a and el. It's another Spanish contraction. A and el becomes al, al. So instead of saying voy a el baño, I'm going to the bathroom, we say voy al baño. The a and el becomes al. For the same reason, you have two vowels here, side by side, and your vowels kind of start to sound like word vomit. De and el, del. A and el, al. It's just easier to say del, al. Some more examples that you see here below. Yo voy al gimnasio. I'm going to the gym. Él va al pasillo. Nosotros vamos al concierto. So in all of these cases, a and el, to the, became al. Okay, I told you we also use ir to talk about what we're going to do. So, in this case, you usually have a conjugated form of ir, still followed by an a. So, when in doubt, use an a after ir. It tells you that vamos a estudiar. We are going to study for the exam. Or voy a comer pizza. I'm going to eat pizza. Ellos van a ir a la clase. They are going to go to class. Okay? So in this case, ir is almost always followed by an a when it's in conjugated form. Okay, so here's some practice for you with these. Again, I'll do number one and give you a moment to try these on your own. Number one tells us that después de la clase de alemán, Marta y Patricio blank a la clase de historia. So after German class, Marta and Patricio go to history class. So we need to first think, well, Marta and Patricio, would Marta and Patricio be I, you, he, she, we, they, or you all? In this case, Marta and Patricio would be they, and you know, my friends, that they go, that's right, they go in a van. So we're going to say that Marta and Patricio van a la clase de historia. Let's try one more. Este fin de semana, this weekend, nosotros blank a ir al cine. So this weekend, we are going to go to the movies. Well, nosotros means we. If you find the ir word that goes with nosotros, you have vamos. And we're going to say that nosotros vamos a ir al cine. We're going to go to the movies. I want you to take a moment, pause your audio, and give numbers 3, 4, and 5 a try for me, please. Okay, now that you've had a second to try these, number 3 tells us that Blaine E. Grayson blank al estadio para ver al partido de fútbol por la tarde. So Blaine and Grayson go to the stadium in order to see the soccer game in the afternoon. So Blaine and Grayson would be I, you, he, she, we, they, or you all. Blaine and Grayson would be they. Again, we know that they go in a van. So Blaine and Grayson van. Number 4. Antes de la clase de psicología, yo siempre blank a Starbucks. So before psychology class, I always go to Starbucks. Well, yo is my subject here, I. You know that the ir word that goes with yo in this case is voy. So we're going to say yo siempre voy a Starbucks. And then number 5, ¿qué blank a hacer tú mañana? So what are you going to do tomorrow? My subject in this case is tú, you. I'm asking what are you going to do? The ir word that goes with tú in this case, as you can see, is vas. So we're going to say, ¿qué vas a hacer tú mañana? What are you going to do tomorrow? Okay, a little more practice here with these. Sort of the same repetition over and over again. So we won't do all of these. I just want to give you a few. Number 1, it tells you in English, I go to school at 7 a.m. And then you have to fill in the correct Spanish here. So yo blank a la escuela a las 7 de la mañana. So I go to school, yo, and the correct ir word to go with yo should be voy. Yo voy a la escuela a las 7. Look down at number 4. It says, my friends and I are going to a concert this Saturday. My friends and I, mis amigos y yo. To say we go, you need to find the correct ir conjugation that goes with we. We in Spanish is nosotros, and vamos is the correct conjugation. So we're going to say that mis amigos y yo vamos. But we can't just say mis amigos y yo vamos un concierto. Notice in all of these other questions that you had, there's an a coming after your ear word. Van a la clase. Vamos a ir al cine. Van al, which comes from a and, van al estadio. Voy a Starbucks. Vas a hacer tu mañana. So in this case, you need to add an a because it doesn't make sense to say, my friends and I go concert. Do you go concert? You sound like you need to go English class, okay? So my friends and I, we are going to the concert. Vamos a un concierto. Don't forget your a. Okay? Same thing in number 5. Los maestros blank trabajar mucho hoy calificando los exámenes. So the teachers blank to work a lot today grading the exams. The teachers, they are going to work. So they go, van. We can't just say van trabajar. They go work. They're going to work. So van a trabajar mucho. Okay? Hopefully you're feeling better about these things. We talked about the verb ir. We're going to take a moment and do another new verb, which is hacer. Hacer means to do or to make. So you can hacer la tarea, do your homework, or you can hacer amigos, make friends. Now, I want you to think about what you've already learned about conjugations and think about how we would conjugate the verb hacer. Well, what's the first thing you normally do when you're conjugating a verb? Hopefully you're saying, yeah, you chop off the AR, ER, IR. So if I take hacer and I chop off this ER and I go through, and let's just say this works. I'm going to add this down, HAC, and I'm going to copy this because I'm feeling lazy. We're going to go through and just carry this down, HAC, 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 HAC. I don't know why this one's blurred out. Sorry, HAC. And then think about your ER verb endings. When you had a verb like comer, you chopped off that ER and you added back o, es, a, hemos, es, in. If you don't remember doing that, go back and revisit our Chapter 2 video lecture, okay? But these are your normal endings for an ER verb, o, es, a, hemos, es, in. So let's say that I just go and slap those on here. O, es, a, hemos, es, in. Well, you would be 90% right here, except the verb hacer is an irregular yo verb. So that means that the yo form is not ako. Okay, all the rest of these are right. Haces, hace, hacemos, haces, hacen, totally right. But the yo form, hacer, is an irregular yo verb. So therefore the yo form, the C, changes to a G. And we end up with hago. Hago, I do or I make. All the rest are normal. So hago, I do or I make. Haces, you do or you make. Hace, he or she does or he or she makes. Hacemos, we do or we make. Haces, you all in Spain do or you all in Spain make. Hacen, they do or they make. Let's say these together one more time. Hago, haces, hace, hacemos, haces, hacen. These are your hacer conjugations, okay? So now, Let's practice using these in a sentence. Yo blank mi tarea todos los días. This is where you have to look at the context of the sentence to see if it's saying that I do my homework or I make my homework every day. Well, if I'm a teacher, maybe I make the homework every day. But if I'm a student, I do my homework every day. So if you were answering this question to say I do, you're going to take hacer, chop off your ER, throw on an O. I bet it's ako, right? Wrong. It's not ako. The yo form of hacer becomes hago, right? Irregular yo verb. So we're going to say yo hago mi tarea todos los días. Number 2 tells us that Brittany blank ejercicio en el gimnasio. Brittany blank exercise in the gym. She makes or she does exercise in the gym. We're saying she does exercise. She exercises in the gym. So Brittany would be I, you, he, she, we, they, or you all. Brittany would be she. You know that our bottom left box here, ella means she. So our correct answer here should be hace. We're going to say that Brittany hace ejercicio en el gimnasio. Okay? Number 3 tells us that nosotros blank la cena a las 6 de la noche. I want you to take a moment and give numbers 3, 4, and 5 a try for us. Okay, now that you've had a second to try these, number 3 tells us that nosotros blank la cena, we blank dinner at 6 at night. We make dinner. You know that the hacer word that goes with nosotros in this case is hacemos. So you should have written down, nosotros hacemos la cena a las 6 de la noche. Number 4 tells us that Dawson and Lauren blank un pastel. So Dawson and Lauren make a cake. Well, Dawson and Lauren would be I, you, he, she, we, they, or you all. Dawson and Lauren would be they. Ellos. So our bottom right box for hacer is going to be hacen. Dawson and Lauren hacen un pastel. They make a cake. And last one. Tú nunca blank la cama. You never blank your bed. You never do your bed. You never make your bed. Obviously, make sounds better here. So tú nunca, and then the hacer word to go with tú, the correct conjugation form should be haces. So we're going to say that tú nunca haces la cama. You never make your bed. Okay? So I know we're hopping right through here. We've talked about a lot. Remember, you can pause and replay at any time. Okay? Now, as we continue on, we're going to talk about the verb ser and estar. You may recall these are the 2 verbs that mean to be in Spanish. So, do you remember how to conjugate these? I want you to take a moment, pause your audio, and try seeing if you can fill in these boxes here with ser and estar. Okay, now that you've got a second to try, hopefully you remember as we conjugate ser, we say soy, eres, es, somos, sois, son. These are your conjugations. Yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es. Nosotros somos, vosotros sois, and ellos, ellas, ustedes son. Feel free to revisit that chapter 1 video if you need help with that. As we look at estar, it's conjugated in a similar way. You learned how to conjugate these back in chapter 2. We have yo estoy, tú estás, él, ella, usted está, nosotros estamos, vosotros estáis, and ellos, ellas, ustedes están. So, if you look at these side by side, soy and estoy both mean I am. Eres and estás both mean you are. Es and está both mean he, she, or it is. Somos and estamos both mean we are. Sois and estáis, you all in Spain are. And son and están, they or you all are. So if there are all these different ways to say to be, to say that someone is or that they are, how do we know which one to use? Well, stay tuned because that's what you're learning here. Now, if you haven't learned anything about me yet, you will learn that I like fun little memory things to help you remember these things. So I'm going to give you some acronyms that will help you remember these. So for ser, we use the acronym TOPIC, T-O-P-I-C. Each letter of TOPIC stands for something different. The T in TOPIC stands for time. The O refers to origin. The P, profession. The I, identification. And the C, characteristic. So let's start with time. Time can refer to specific things like days of the week, specific dates, years, seasons, or even the time on a clock. Okay? So notice, think back to what we did in chapter 2 when we were talking about time. When we said it is a certain time, we said son las. In this case, son las 5:25. It's 5:25. Well, we didn't say están las, we said son las. That's because with time, we always use the verb ser. So son las 5:21. Ahora es la una. Right now it's 1. Mañana es mi cumpleaños. Tomorrow is my birthday. Well, my birthday is it's a specific day. It's a time. Mañana es mi cumpleaños. Or hoy es miércoles. Today is Wednesday. That's a specific day of the week. So hoy es miércoles. Again, time can be days, dates, years, seasons, time on a clock, time. Okay? The O in topic stands for origin. Now your origin is where you come from. So now this not only works for people, but also for other things. So you can talk about what something is made of. For example, el chocolate es de Mexico. The chocolate is of Mexico. It is from Mexico. That is where the chocolate originated. Okay, it's its origin. El chocolate es de Mexico. Las sillas son de madera. The chairs are of wood. Wood is what the chairs came from. Wood is their origin. Mi anillo es de oro. My ring is of gold. It's made of gold. Gold is the origin of the ring. That's what it came from. Okay? Or it's most commonly used when you're referring to people. I would say, yo soy de Estados Unidos. I'm from the United States. Or Celia es de España. Celia is from Spain. Okay? So T in topic time, O in topic origin. The P in topic stands for profession. This is what someone does for a living. So, yo soy maestro de español. I am a teacher of Spanish. Notice there's not an un in there. You don't need any indefinite articles when you're talking about professions. That is, you don't need the un, una, unos, or unas to say a or an, whatever. So, yo soy maestro. I'm a teacher. Ustedes son estudiantes. You all are students. Mi padre es policía. My dad is a policeman. Clayton es jugador de fútbol americano. Clayton is a football player. You don't need the un or una in front of it. Okay, so one more time. Topic, used always with the verb ser. The T stands for time. The O, origin. The P, profession. The I, identification. And the the I, let me tell you about that first. The I, identification, if you're identifying someone, yo soy Matthew, that's my name. Yo soy alto y delgado, I'm tall and thin, that's identifying myself. I can also refer to things like religions. Tanner es católico, Tanner is Catholic. It can also refer to someone in terms of a description or a family relationship. So, Patricia es mi madre. Patricia is my mother. Madison es la ex-novia de Clayton. Madison is the ex-girlfriend of Clayton. Doctora Macion es mi jefa. Dr. Macion is my boss. So on and so forth. You can go through and identify people in this manner. So again, topic, always used with the verb ser. The T in topic stands for time. The O in topic, origin. The P, profession. The I, identification. And finally, the C is for characteristics. This most commonly refers to personality descriptors like intelligent, kind, tall, so on and so forth. So my best friend, Ali, es inteligente y amable. Ali is intelligent and friendly. Mi novia es romántica y guapa. So my girlfriend is romantic and she's good looking. Okay, these are characteristics. So therefore, I'm using the verb ser instead of estar. These are more permanent things that don't change. So we're using ser. So one more time. Ser, topic, time, origin, profession, identification, characteristics. For the verb estar, we use the acronym place. Okay, place. So the P in place stands for position. The L, location, the A, action, the C, condition, and the E, emotion. So as we look at position, this refers to a physical position of something, maybe a posture, or just its actual location. So for example, I have a sentence here that el baño está al lado de mi clase. The bathroom is next to my class. So I'm referring to the bathroom's location or position. So I'm going to use the verb estar. Another example, el lápiz está encima del pupitre. The pencil is on top of the desk. I'm referring to the pencil's position or its location, so I'm using the verb estar. So again, place is our acronym for estar. The P stands for position. The L is for location, which is very similar to what we were just talking about. El baño está a la derecha de la cocina. The bathroom is to the right of the kitchen. That's the bathroom's location. Estamos en el café ahora. We're at the cafe right now. That's our location. So we're using estar. Okay, so again, place. The P in place stands for position. The L, location. The A refers to actions. This is most commonly used with the present progressive tense in Spanish, which you will learn about in Chapter 5, so I won't go into that too much here. But typically this is used to describe an ongoing action. So, estoy lavando los platos sucios. I'm washing the dirty dishes. You can also use it with a participle like dead, alive, broken. Mi bisabuelo está muerto. My great-grandfather is dead. Está muerto. So actions. So again, for the verb estar, we use the acronym PLACE, position, location, action. The ST stands for conditions, okay? A condition is something that's temporary. So these are things that refer to both physical and mental conditions. So for example, estoy cansada esta mañana. I'm tired this morning. Estoy cansada. I must be a female speaking. I said cansada and not cansado. So estoy cansada, man, I'm tired. That's my condition. I'm probably always not going to be tired. Unless you're a college student, then you might perpetually be tired. But estoy cansada, I'm tired. Okay, that's a condition. Generally speaking, you're not always going to be tired. Another example, mis niños están enfermos hoy. My children are sick today. Well, they're not always going to be sick. They're just sick right now. They're sick today. That's their condition. So I'm using estar. Mi padre está un poco loco. My dad's a little crazy. Just temporarily, though, not always. Love is also seen to be as a condition. So Mitchell está enamorado. Mitchell's in love. It's a condition. So these refer to both physical and mental conditions. Okay, so one more time. The verb estar uses the acronym PLACE. The P in place stands for position. The L, location. The A, action. The C, condition. And finally, the E is for emotions, or how a person is feeling. So, estoy triste, estoy deprimido, I'm sad, I'm depressed. Or, estoy alegre, estoy contento, I'm happy, I'm content. Ella está enojada porque tiene hambre. She is mad because she is hungry, also known as being hangry when you're mad when you're hungry. Ella está enojada, she's angry. All of these are emotions, okay? So, if you like to think about it this way as well, another option that usually helps some students is ser typically refers to some very specific, like non-changeable, concrete, kind of permanent things, things that don't change. Whereas estar is more of a temporary thing that does change, and it's more of a temporary condition type thing. Okay, so again, we have the acronyms topic and place. So before I can ask you to do this in Spanish, I'm going to make you do it in English first. Okay, so I want you to look at these sentences and I want you to tell me if we would use ser or estar and give me a reason from topic or place as to why. So for example, number 1 tells us that Matthew is from Kingsport. Well, in this case, we're talking about Matthew's origin. So we're going to use the verb ser. Number 2, it is 7 o'clock. And this time we're talking about time. So we're again going to use the verb ser. I want you to take a moment and try numbers 3, 4, and 5 on your own. Okay, now that you've had a second to give these a try, number 3 tells us that my aunt is very funny. Well, funny is a characteristic. It's something that doesn't change. She's probably not just funny. Characteristic, I can't spell. She is probably not just funny temporarily. That's a personality trait. It's something that doesn't really change. If she was funny 10 years ago, she's probably still funny today. That's a characteristic, so we're going to use the verb ser. The book is beside my computer. You could look at that as the book's position or the book's location. Either way, we're going to use the verb estar. Okay? And then Maria is tall. Well, tall in this case is a characteristic. It's a trait, a personality trait, characteristic. Why did I make such long words? So for things that don't change, characteristics, we are going to use the verb ser because characteristic was the C of topic. Okay? Hopefully you're feeling good about doing these in English. Let's do these in Spanish now. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and give you a little cheat. These are all using the verb ser. I want you to fill in the blank with the correct ser word, either soy, eres, es, somos, sois, or son. And I will actually put those for you on the slide. And I want you to tell me which reason from topic justifies using ser. For example, I'm going to put this up here for you. Okay, so for example, it says that Jennifer Lawrence blank actriz. So first of all, ask yourself, Jennifer Lawrence, okay. I, you, he, she, we, they, or you all. Well, Jennifer Lawrence would be she. So we're going to use our bottom left box. We're going to say that Jennifer Lawrence es actriz. Okay, so she is an actress. Well, acting, gosh, I wonder where that would fall under topic. Would that be time, origin, profession? Oh my gosh, profession, right? Acting is a profession. So my uso de ser, my use of ser here, should be profession. Okay, I want you to try numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take a moment, pause your audio, and give these a try. Okay, now that you've had a second to try these, number 2 asks us, ¿Qué hora blank? We're asking, what hour is it? You learned in our last chapter, ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? Obviously, we're using ser here because topic, the T, stands for time. Number 3, blank las 8:30. It's 8:30. Well, when we're referring to time for anything other than 1 o'clock, we say son las. We use ser, again, because we're talking about time. Okay, number 4, Shakira y Juanes blank de Colombia. So Shakira and Juanes are from de Colombia. Well, Colombia in this case would fall where? They're from Colombia. Man, is that going to be time, origin, profession, identification, characters of Colombia? Time? No. Profession? No. Identification? I don't think so. Characteristics? Nope. Got to be origin. That's where they come from. That's their origin. We're going to say that Shakira y Juanes, they are, so our they box, son, and son de Colombia. Our use of ser in this case is origin. And our last one, Ron Weasley. If you've seen Harry Potter, you'll appreciate that. Ron Weasley is pelirrojo. We're saying he's red-headed. Well, in this case, red-headed is a characteristic. That is my reason for using ser. Characteristic. I can never spell this word. Okay, and Ron Weasley would be he. We're using our bottom left box. We're going to say that Ron Weasley es pelirrojo. All right, now we're going to do a little guided practice using estar, okay? So, again, you need to know your estar conjugations. I'm going to put them up here on the slide for you. You have estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, and están. I'll throw those up here for you so you have them. Okay, remember you're using a reason from place to justify why we're using estar. So position, location, action, condition, or emotion. Let's get started. Number 1, ask you, ¿Dónde blank el baño? Where is the bathroom? Well, I'm asking about the bathroom's position or the bathroom's location. So that's my use of estar. In this case, where is the bathroom? Well, the bathroom would be considered it in Spanish. It is singular. So therefore, we're going to use our third-person singular box, also known as the he, she, it box. So I'm going to ask you, ¿Dónde está el baño? Where is the bathroom? Let's do another one. Number 2, los niños blank enfermos. The children are sick. Well, from place, we have to decide, would sick be a position, location, action, condition, or emotion? Being sick is a condition. You're sick and then you get better. So in this case, condition is our reasoning for using estar. And the children, los niños, would be they, So we're going to say that los niños están enfermos. They're feeling sickly. Okay, as usual, I want you to do numbers 3, 4, and 5. Please take a moment, pause your audio, and give these a try. Okay, now that you had a second to try these, number 3 tells us that tú blank nerviosa antes de un examen. So you are nervous before an exam. Nervous in this case would fall as an emotion or a condition in estar. So I'm just going to put some abbreviations here because I don't have a lot of room to type. So emotion or condition, that would be my use of estar. And we're saying you're nervous. We're going to say that tú estás nerviosa because estar went with tú here, estás. Number 4, la cuchara blank a la derecha del cuchillo. The spoon is to the right of the knife. I'm talking about the spoon's location or position in this case. A cuchara, just like baño, a cuchara spoon is not I, you, he, she, we, or they. A spoon is it. And for it, we use our bottom left box, the he, she, it box. So we're going to say that la cuchara está a la derecha del cuchillo. Okay, and finally the last one, el director blank en su oficina. The director is in his office. We're talking about the director's location or position again. The director would be he. So in this case, we're going to use our bottom left box. Él está, el director está en su oficina. He's in his office. All right, here's where things start to get a little complicated, all right? So we've been talking about ser, we've been talking about estar, and I kind of guided you through each of these. So let's say you had an activity, maybe on My Spanish Lab, or gosh, I don't know, on a test or something, where you saw something like this, and you had to decide between ser or estar and conjugate it correctly. So to be clear, you're not just writing ser or estar in these blanks. You are conjugating ser as soy, eres, es, somos, soy, son, or estar as estoy, estás, estás, estamos, estáis, están, and you are writing those conjugations in the blank. For example, number 1. Estas sillas blank de plástico. These chairs blank of plastic. Well, gosh, plastic refers to the origin of the chairs. The chairs came from plastic. So in this case, origin fell under topic, which required us to use ser. So we're going to say that estas sillas son de plástico. Let's do another one. Nosotros blank enfermos. We are sick, enfermos. Enfermos fell under place as a condition, and therefore we're using estar. The estar word to go with nosotros should be estamos. I want you to take a moment, pause your audio, and give this a try. Okay, now that you got a second to try these, number 3 tells us that blank las 3:30 de la tarde. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. So to say that it is 3:30, we're talking about a time. Time was the T of topic, and topic was the acronym that helped us remember when to use ser. So we're going to say that son las 7:30. Number 4, I'm from California. We would say that yo blank de California. To say that I am from somewhere, I'm referring to my origin. This is where I come from. You may recall that origin was the T of topic. Therefore, I'm using ser. And the ser word to go with yo in this case is soy. So yo soy de California. Okay, and our last one, number 5. La cafeteria blank al lado de la biblioteca. The cafeteria is near or next to the library. In this case, I'm talking about the cafeteria's location or position. So I'm going to say that la cafeteria está al lado de la biblioteca. We're talking about its position, its location, so I'm using estar. Okay, that sums up our use of ser and estar. There's one last thing that I've added here, and this is words of location. These are used a lot in this chapter, and I wanted just to show you a quick little helpful way to help you remember these. So these are some words that you see encima de, on top of, detrás de, behind, delante de, in front of, enfrente de, facing or across from, entre, between, cerca de, near, lejos de, far from, al lado de, next to, or in, which just means in or on. So these are more of just a vocabulary thing, and you can totally make flashcards and memorize these, but I have a more fun way to help you remember these. There's a cool little song that I think is just going to like, boom, pop in your head and will be stuck forever. So let's take a moment and listen to this.
Words of location style. Words of location style. Delante, de, in front of, detrás, de, behind. 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 Encima de, on top of, debajo de, underneath. 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 Al lado de is next to, al lado de is next to, al lado de is next to you. Al lado de is next to, al lado de is next to, al lado de is next to you. Al lado de, al lado de, al lado de. Words of location style. Words of location style. Aquí is here, allí is there. 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 Delante de, in front of, detrás de, behind. Encima de, on top of, debajo de, underneath. Al lado de is next to, aquí is here, allí is.
Okay, so I'm sure you get the point there. If you're interested in hearing more of this song, you're welcome to Google just words of location style, and that will pop up for you. Okay, now, as you are taking a look at those, the reason I say this is because you will have something similar to this to do on my Spanish lab. So I may ask you to look at two buildings. Like it tells you in number one, we're looking at la cafeteria. And you have to describe where it is. Well, in this case, the cafeteria is next to or near the library. So we could say that la cafeteria, we're talking about its location. So we're going to use estar. La cafeteria está, and then it's near or next to, al lado de la biblioteca. Okay, and you're just going through and describing where things are located using these words. For example, on a test, you may be given something like this, where I give you a little visual here of some different buildings, and I ask you to tell if these things are true or false. So, for example, number one, La Biblioteca Fuentes, which is right here, and it tells you está al lado de, it's next to, la librería. Well, in fact, they are next to each other, so we would say here that this one is cierto, it's true. Okay, in number two, we're looking at El Museo Rivera, which you can see right here, and it's entre, between, la Facultad de Arte, School of Art, y el Observatorio Galileo, which is right here. Indeed, it is between these two things, so in that case, that would also be cierto. Okay, I want you to try number three. It tells us that la cancha de tenis, the tennis court, está lejos del estadio. It is far del, which comes from de el, del, our contraction we learned about earlier. The tennis court is far away from the stadium, so we have to figure out where these are. Well, gosh, this right here looks like a tennis court to me, and there's a stadium, so they don't look too far away. This has to be falso. Okay, I hope you found this video to be helpful as always, guys. If you have any questions at any point, please do feel free to reach out. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Take care.